Welcome to the 6th installment in the 8 Essential Steps to Clawhammer Banjo video series. In this lesson, we're going to be picking up from where we left off in the last video, which is continuing our work on the fretting hand. And so hopefully you've made it through the exercises in Lesson 5 and are ready to begin on this video. Now, I said before in the last video that in Clawhammer Banjo, the fretting hand is oftentimes called upon to do more than it typically would be in maybe your average stringed instruments, largely because of the constraints that are imposed by the clawhammer motion. And specifically, there are going to be circumstances that arise where instead of playing a note with the picking hand, you'll instead generate that note with the finger of your fretting hand. And in the next two videos, I'm going to be reviewing the two primary techniques for doing so. And in today's installment, we're going to be covering the first of those techniques, which is the hammer-on. Now, when we're executing a hammer-on, essentially what we're doing is taking a string that's already vibrating and sounding a note, and then fretting that string mid-vibration to produce a new note. And there are a couple of different ways we'll do so. The first of those is to hammer on to a string that has just been struck. So if you've played other stringed instruments before, or play fingerstyle banjo, then you're probably familiar with the technique of hammering on to a string that you've just struck. So for example, when I hammer on from the open fourth string to the second fret of the fourth string using my middle finger, it sounds like this. And so what I'm doing there is taking the open D that I've struck and then changing that to an E by fretting it with the middle finger of my fretting hand. So go ahead and try that a little bit. Try striking the open fourth and then fretting it after you've struck it with the middle finger at the second fret. And then do that same thing on the third string, striking again with the middle finger onto the second fret. Then try it on the first string, this time using your index finger at the first fret. And then lastly, try striking the open first string and then hammering on at the second fret again with your middle finger. So just practice that for a little bit. Until you get a little bit comfortable with it. So one of the cool things you can do with this technique that works particularly well on the banjo, and is one of the things that's fairly unique to clawhammer banjoists, is you can strike a string and then hammer on to another string, a different one than the one you just struck. And this is commonly referred to as an alternate string hammer-on. So for example, if I strike the open second string with my fretting finger and then hammer on to the third string at the second fret, it sounds like this. So again, I'm striking the second string, but I'm hammering on to the third. And that second string that I've struck will continue to kind of ring out since I'm not deadening it with my fretting hand. So practice that one a little bit, and then also try doing the same thing by striking the open third with your fretting with your picking finger, and then hammering on to the fourth string at the second fret, like this. Give both of those a try for a little bit, and then we'll move on to a couple of exercises. So in this first exercise, we're just going to work on a little picking pattern that utilizes both the same string and alternate string hammer-ons. So here's what the tab of it looks like. And just a brief word about how hammer-ons are notated in the tab. So if it's a single string or a hammer-on onto the same string, you'll see a little arc in the tablature with an H over it to stand for hammer-on. And if in these tabs, if it's an alternate string hammer-on, so you're hammering onto a string other than the one you've just struck with your picking finger, then you'll see a number underneath the tab to refer to the finger that I typically use to hammer onto the string. You'll see in the fourth measure in this example that there's a 2 underneath the tablature to refer to the fact that I'm striking the open second string and then hammering on with my second or middle finger onto the third string at the second fret. Like that. So before we get started playing this exercise along with the metronome, I'm just going to talk you through the arrangement real quick. So to begin with, we're going to play the open fourth, followed by a hammer-on onto the 4th string, 2nd fret, and a brush thumb. Then the open third, followed by a brush thumb. Then a hammer-on from the open third to the 3rd string, 2nd fret, followed by a brush thumb. Then the open second, followed by a brush thumb. Then a hammer-on using our index finger from the open second to the 2nd string, 1st fret, followed by a brush thumb. And then the open second, followed by a brush thumb. And then we're going to do an alternate string hammer-on, playing the open second, followed by a hammer-on onto the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and a brush thumb. So again. And then the open third, followed by a brush thumb. And then back to where we started again, open fourth, followed by a hammer-on at the 2nd fret, and a brush thumb. Then the open third, followed by a brush thumb. Then a hammer-on onto the 3rd string, from the open 3rd string to the 3rd string, 2nd fret, followed by a brush thumb. Then the open second, followed by a brush thumb. Then a hammer-on from the 2nd string open to the 2nd string, 1st fret. And then again an alternate string hammer-on from the open second to the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And then the open third, followed by a brush thumb. And then the open third. All right, now we're going to do that along with the metronome. So the next exercise we're going to do, we're actually going to be playing through the A part of the tune Turkey in the Straw. And I've chosen this tune because it's very notey, particularly in the A part. And if we want to get all those melody notes without breaking our clawhammer stroke, then we have to use our fretting hand to do so. So here's what the melody of the A part sounds like. Something like that. And this is about as close as we could get to getting that melody if we only use our picking finger of our picking hand to get the notes. Now, there's nothing at all wrong with that version. However, if we want to get in more of those little melody notes from the A part, then we have to do something with our fretting hand to generate those notes. And here's an example of what we can do. So we're able to get a lot more of them in there by using a bunch of hammer-ons. So here's what the tablature for this second exercise looks like. And it's probably going to be a little bit challenging for you because there are a lot of hammer-ons in there. But it's a really good exercise for developing this technique. So start out real slowly. In this upcoming example, I'm at about 60 beats per minute. You may want to drop down to around 60 or to around 40 beats per minute or so as you're getting started with it. And again, you can access the metronome playlist I've created to help you with that practice. Alright, so that should give you enough to practice with until the next installment. And if you want to hear how that version of Turkey in the Straw sounds at full speed and get a preview of one of the techniques we're going to be working on in the next installment, then click on this link here for a video where I'm playing it all the way through. Otherwise, practice up on your hammer-ons, and I'll see you in lesson 7.